Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Australian Open quarterfinal preview, Monfils versus Matteo Berrettini. And just like we've done for all the others, we're going to go over the route to the quarterfinals, how they've got there, who they'll potentially be playing if they win, and of course a tactical breakdown as well. So looking into the potential tactics that each might employ, how they've been playing so far in the tournament, and then also, of course, my prediction, because that's what everyone wants to hear, right? Right, let's get into this then. Let's first of all talk about the route to the final. So if we look at that, and then also, of course, most importantly, we need to look at the head-to-head. That's not always, the head-to-head can be a little bit misleading because at times, someone could be playing completely differently to how they have in the past. They've actually only met twice as well, to be fair. Berrettini has won both affairs. One was on the ATP Cup, which was this year, 6-4, 6-2, and one at the US Open in 2019, which was a quarterfinal as well. Matteo Berrettini won it, but in 5 sets, and it was a tiebreaker in that final set. So very, very interesting to say the least. Let's go into Monfils' run to the final then. So first round faced Korea, did that in straights. I mean, he's the only player, by the way, of Monfils, the only player to not drop a set in this Australian Open so far. The only player who's still left standing on the men's side to not drop a set. Everyone else has dropped a set. Rafa dropped 1 set against Karen Khachanov. Everyone else has dropped at least a set. Whether it's a tiebreaker, doesn't matter. It's still a set. They've lost it. Monfils has absolutely blitzed everyone. Korea, straight sets. Bublik, straight sets. There was a bagel in there as well. Garin, straight sets. And then Kecmanovic, straight sets. Just blitzing everyone in his path. He has been playing some fantastic tennis. His confidence is up, and that is when Monfils is at his best. Hot dogs, trick shots, power, just movement, just sublime. How far can he go? I don't know. What's his chance against Berrettini? We'll talk about that. But I tell you what, if Monfils wants to make a deep run at a slam, this is his chance. He is playing really well. Normally, these types of matches against a Bublik, for example, he would go to 4 or 5 sets, play an absolutely grinding match where he would put his body through absolute hell right before then going to the next round, and he'd either lose in the next round or he'd actually lose that specific match in like a 4 or 5 set tight affair. The fact that he's won in the manner that he has is really clinical for one, but two, fantastic for him and the longevity of his run in this tournament. If he loses, it should be because Berrettini just played better on the day. But if you're a Monfils fan, it's exciting because he will be fresh going into this match. He doesn't seem to have any niggles from what I know. He's moving very well. He is striking the tennis ball really nicely. This slightly more aggressive brand of tennis that he's brought about means that he's able to finish off points better. He's able to dictate better on the forehand side as well, which is a huge plus. And of course, we know that he's so good with the movement, with the ability to manipulate the ball as well in tricky situations. He has this fantastic energy about him, and when he's playing with confidence, he is a danger to anyone. So he actually has a winning record against John Isner, which one of my subscribers pointed out to me. I think it was 7-6, if I'm not mistaken, or 7-5. That's actually a big plus. And the reason why I say that is because Berrettini is, of course, just as good a server, if not more, at this current point in time than John Isner. The only difference there, and it's a big difference to be fair, is the forehand. Berrettini has that hammer forehand that just makes it such a nightmare. And it's a 1-2, bam, wham, good night, ma'am tactic. It really is. So yeah, huge game, Berrettini. We'll go over his run now, and then we'll talk about some more tactics in due course. Got a bit excited to start talking about tactics. Berrettini's had a pretty tough run, to be fair. He has not had an easy run to this point. First of all, he had Nakashima, which I thought was a really tough first round, honestly. Won it in 4 sets. Then had Kozlov. He dropped a set here, which I thought was a little bit uncharacteristic. Kozlov, it's not a bad player, but you would expect Berrettini to get through that in straight sets. Alcaraz, that was a really tough match. Could have gone either way. Of course, we had that super tiebreak as a decider, but Berrettini against my prediction won, and I have to say fair play to him. And then he played PCB, which again I thought was a very, very tough matchup. But again, he just proved me wrong, and not just proved me wrong. He blitzed PCB in the end. A very clinical serving display. 28 aces. He was hitting his spots beautifully. And the one thing that I think Berrettini has improved a huge amount is the backhand slice. It is a much improved weapon. It's so good, genuinely, compared to what it was before. And yes, it can be a little bit better, but he's able to hit it not just from a defensive standpoint, but also in an attacking manner. And it's effective, it's potent, it's deep, it causes problems. The drive backhand as well, he's hitting more winners off it. He looks a little bit more confident on that side. But the biggest thing for him is the return. And it's still not where it needs to be. And he's still not as clinical on the break points as I'd like him to be. And that is partly to do with the return, because he sometimes you'll have break points and there's an opportunity on the first serve. It's in his hitting zone. He'll get a racket on it and he'll go into the net on the backhand side, for example, which is a common mistake that he makes. That's something that obviously can't be altered by the time he faces Monfils, but just something to look out for. And also, I think he needs to be careful of that because, you know, those types of breakpoint opportunities and missing them, it can make a huge difference in the scope of how a match ends up going. So Monfils, for me, needs to have a decent serving day, and he will give Berrettini problems. He should be able to hold serve. For Berrettini, Monfils is not a bad returner whatsoever, but if Berrettini serves like how he did against PCB, who I thought returned pretty damn well in that match, to be honest with you, but still managed to concede 28 aces, then Berrettini will be breezing through a lot of service games. The biggest issue for me is in the tiebreakers. Berrettini is very clinical in tiebreakers as well. He says a lot of aces, not just an ace here or there. It can sometimes be consecutive aces. And I think there was one game where he said 4 aces in a row, which was ridiculous. So Monfils needs to be patient, I think, and it will be a battle of wills and also a battle of mentalities, because I think for me, Monfils, similar to Berrettini's backhand is his weaker wing. There will be a lot of backhand to backhand rallies, and it will be who's got the better shot tolerance. And now it should be Monfils in that instance, but if Berrettini's slicing that backhand, Monfils, it'll be interesting to see how he deals with those deep slice backhands, which are, as I said, more attacking shots than that defensive or neutral type of slice we're used to seeing from most players. Similarly, as well, in the forehand to forehand exchanges, Berrettini probably hits bigger off that forehand, but is, I would say, more prone to mistakes on it as well at times. So Monfils needs to make Berrettini move a lot. His movement is nowhere near as good as Monfils's. He needs to make sure that Berrettini is in uncomfortable positions, especially on that backhand side. Use the angles at his disposal, Monfils. Serve well, hit his spots, and then make Berrettini play as many balls as possible, especially on the return games, because the more balls you make Berrettini play, the harder it will be for him, no doubt. His shot tolerance is not as good as Monfils from what I've seen. I mean, his overheads, even from behind the baseline, are incredible, to be fair. That's something that's been really impressive, and that's just because he's such a good server. He keeps his shape so well. Berrettini is definitely the favorite in this, given how he's been serving and just his general, I think, form in the past year or so. He's made 4 quarterfinals in a row in Grand Slam, so that's really impressive, of course, starting from Roland Garros 2021 all the way now to here today. So can he make a semi-final? The answer is probably yes, he can. But so can Monfils if he has a very good game. He's playing some inspired tennis. The winner will play Rafael Nadal or Shapovalov in the next round. So they'll play a lefty in the next round, which will be very different to their current opponent tomorrow. But for me, it's an exciting matchup, and let's see how it goes. I'm going to go with... you know what? I'm going to go with one of our subscribers just to make him happy as well. But not just to make him happy, but because I really want it to happen. In terms of realism, I think most likely Berrettini, if he's serving how he has been, it's going to be very tough to get past him. But I think I'm going to go with Monfils in 5 sets, 5 hard sets. I think he can potentially nick it. But it would be a great story if he can, and some people, wanting him to even win it, and that would be a fantastic story nonetheless. But yeah, very much looking forward to it. It's going to be an interesting tie. It really is, and hopefully we should be streaming it. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please let me know your thoughts as well. Who do you think is going to win and why? Also, if you have any extra points that you want to add, please do put them in. It's always great to know your guys' thoughts, and also, of course, I want to learn as well, and I'm always learning. So if there's anything that you think I've missed and you'd like to point out, or anything that you agree with or disagree with, let me know, and obviously we can have a chat in the comment section. Thank you very much, guys. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you on the next video.